Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the elementary grade. Our textbook is Weekend 3 and today inshallah we will cover Unit 1. It's nice to meet you. Grammar in Action, page 5. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Saleh Al-Ajan. So let's begin. So quick revision in our last lesson. In our last lesson, we did listen to this girl introducing herself and also her family. And we said that when we do listen to her, we need to listen carefully and also to point with the on the photo frame we have on our books on page 4 each of her family members. So Kim, or this girl, started by introducing herself by saying, "Hello, my name is Kim. Hello, my name is Kim. I am 11 years old and I live in New York." So she introduced herself by answering the 3 questions. She introduced herself by answering the 3 questions. If you remember them, which are, first, what's your name? She said, my name is Kim. And also the second important question, which is, how old are you? She says, I am 11 years old. And also the third question, where do you live? Where do you live? And she said, I live in New York. I live in New York. So she introduced herself by answering these 3 important questions. So after we did listen and repeated after Kim, she started introducing her family. So she had a photo frame of her family and she pointed at each one of them. And what we did is to listen to her and also to repeat after her and also to point at each of her family members when she talks. So for example, in the first one, she pointed at her mother and said, this is my mother. This is my mother. Her name is Jasmine. Her name is Jasmine. So she held the photo frame and she pointed at her mother. And here in this case, we did write number 1 at this picture or at the right blank. We did write number 1. Now, let's see the other sentence. Number 2, these are my sisters. These are my sisters. Their names are Judy and Rose. Their names are Judy and Rose. So she held the photo frame and she pointed at her sisters. She said that these are my sisters and their name are Judy and Rose. So here we can write down number 2 at her sisters. Now let's listen to the third one. The third one is, this is our little brother. This is our little brother. His name is Pete. His name is Pete. So in the photo frame also she pointed at her brother. So we said that here we can go and write number 3 at her brother, Pete. And after this, after we did listen to Kim and after we got to know her family from the photo frame, we said that now we can write down all of this information in sentences. And the first sentence we started with is this one. My name is Kim. My name is Kim. So here we did learn when we use my, we're talking, or I'm talking about myself. My name is. Also, the second sentence, your name is. And we use your when you're talking to your partner, like I am talking to you now. Your name is. And here you can write down your name. If your name is Ali, you write down Ali or Noura. Okay, so in the first sentence, Kim talks about herself. My name is Kim. The second one, she is talking about you. Your name is. And here you write down your name. And the third one, his name is Pete. She's talking about her brother. She said, his name is Pete. Also, the fourth one, she's talking about her mother. Her name is Jasmine. Her name is Jasmine. So she started with herself. She said, my name is Kim. Your name is? His name is Pete. My brother. Her name is Jasmine. My mother. And our names, my mother and I, our names are Jasmine and Kim. Jasmine and Kim. These are our names. Also, your names are. Now, I'm not talking only about you, but also you can write down your partner's name. Your partner's name. You can say, if your name is Ali, what's the name of your partner? Saeed, Ahmed, or Muhammad. Write them down here. Your names. Your names are. And then Kim talks about her sisters. She said, their names are Judy and Rose. Their names are Judy and Rose. So here with these sentences, we did practice all of these pronouns. So let's listen one more time to these pronouns, and I would like you to repeat them after me. The first pronoun is my. As we said, my name, as in, my name is Kim. My. The second one is your. Your name is Ali. Your name is Ali. The third one is his. His name is Pete, my brother. His name is Pete, my brother. And the fourth one, her. Her name is Jasmine, my mother. Her name is Jasmine. And our name, myself and my mother. Our names are Jasmine and Kim. Our names are Jasmine and Kim. And then your. But your here is not only about yourself, but also about your partner. Your names are maybe Ali and Saeed. And finally, their, my sisters. Their names are Judy and Rose. Their names are Judy and Rose. So this is what we did cover in our last lesson. Now let's get to know our objectives in today's lesson. In today's lesson, we hope that you can use the possessive pronouns to give personal information and also to match object to persons using the possessive forms. And in order to do this, I would like you please to open your books on page 5. I would like you please to open your books on page 5. Now on page 5, we're going to learn a very important question. And this question starts with whose. Starts with whose. We usually use the word whose if we want to know of the objects and where do each of these, or who is the person responsible for different objects. For example, whose pointer is this? Whose pointer is this? It's mine. It's mine. So when we use whose, we use whose just to know the objects and the people who own, who are responsible for these different objects. So, for example, if we're going to talk about, or if we're talking about only one thing or one object, like for example a pointer, we would say, whose pointer is it? Whose pointer is it? Here, because we're talking about only one single object. And we can answer by saying it's the teacher's, or it's his if it's for someone else, or I can say it's mine. It's mine. Also, if we have different objects, in this case we don't use is it, but we use are they. For example, whose shoes are they? Whose shoes are they? We have, for example, two different shoes. We would say, or two pair of shoes. We would say, whose shoes are they? And we answer by saying either the name of the person. We can say, they are Ali's. They are Ali's. Or we can say, they are mine. Or they are his. Or they are hers. So this is how we ask a question, starting with whose, and this is how we answer. Let's get to know how let's get to know more examples of how we can ask this question and also how to answer. So here in number 4, we're going to ask about two different clothes, and about these for different people. So here we have Pete, here we have Steve, we have Ken, and we have Nora. And we're going to have, as you can see on your books, you have different objects. What we need to do is we're going to ask questions about each of these different objects, and then we're going to ask or write them down here. So for the first one, for example, whose shoes are these? Whose shoes are these? And we have two ways to answer this question. As we said, either we say the name of the person, like they are Steve's. They are Steve's. Or we can use the pronoun. We can say they are his. They are his. Now, let's try this question with different object. And I'm going to show you only different examples of the objects you have on your books. So, the second one, whose skirt is this? Whose skirt is this? Who is the person that this skirt belongs to? Whose skirt is this? And here we can answer by saying the name of the person. We can say, it's Nora's. It's Nora's. Or we can say, it's hers. It's hers. So as we learn, we do have two different ways of answers. Now the second one, whose dress is this? Whose dress is this? And the answer is, it's Nora's. It's Nora's. And the next one, and the pink blouse, whose pink blouse is this? Whose pink blouse is this? It's also Noura's. That's hers too. That's hers too. So we can say, that's right, they are, because we have more than one object. They are hers. They are hers. Or we can say, they are Noura's. They are Noura's. Now let's try something else. Whose trousers are these? Whose trousers are these? They are Steve's and Ken's. These trousers belong to Steve's and Ken's. And we have another way to answer this. We can say, they are theirs. They are theirs. Also, what about the t-shirts? What about the t-shirts? So we talked about trousers and also the t-shirts you can see on your book. What about them? We can say, they are theirs too. They are, the t-shirts are theirs too. And also, what about the coat? Whose is it? What about the coat we have seen? Whose is it? The answer is, it's Beats. It's Beats. And also, we can say, it's his. So this is how we ask a question starting with whose, where we ask about, in this case, clothes, and which of these, or who is the person that these clothes belong to. Either by saying the name of the person, like it's Beats, it's Steve's, or it's Ken's, or it's Nora's, or we can use the pronoun, like it's his, it's theirs, or it's hers. So now, at the end of this lesson, it is important that you can ask by using whose and answering by using mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs, or the name of the person with S, Abu Zazif S. So now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.